Awesome. All right, guys, we're gonna start the call in about 1 minute. Hello, Kathy, Jillian, Arsa, what's up? Avis, Danielle, Tabitha, hello, hello, hello. Mindy, what's up? Karis, hello.
Yo,
There's
Rick,
Arsa.
what up? Arsa, so excited. Arsa's doing my artwork for my album. Oh man, it's gonna be cool.
It's gonna be fucking dope.
It's gonna be fucking dope. Yeah, there you go. What's up, Thor? All right, hey, we're at 33, so let's start at 33. That's a good number. All right, so really again, so thank you everybody for joining. My name is Robby Blair. I operate 2 meditation groups Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 5 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern time. Also, we do this. We get together and do a Sunday night call right now with our amazing community and as special guests. We have just such great stories that need to be heard by the world within our community as well. And this week is my brother from another mother, Josh Whiteland, who has just he's just got this. You guys are going to hear the story he's going to share before current and future vision, which is all present moment. I'm sure he'll mention that a couple of times, but just stuff that we need to hear. And I want to also quickly just a couple announcements before I hand it off to Josh, because you guys know. So basically, the format of the show is I'm just going to hand the microphone to Josh. Feel free to raise your hand in the chat if you have any questions. He said he mentioned, the more interactive, the better. So just raise your hands if you had any questions, because it's going to be some interesting stuff. And as I was getting to the point, if anybody on this call isn't part of the meditation group, feel free to reach out to anybody in the group that you know, or me. I'll write my email if you want to take part in the collective community that we have within our meditation. That's how this all got created, was just the energy we're creating together every week. So all right, really quick, I just want to thank Cheryl Page for last week's call. Mind-blowing stuff. I still haven't stopped hearing just how much she's affected people within our community and outside of our community. So thank you so much. The energy's real. Let's fucking go.
Thanks, guys.
Definitely. Thank you. 3:30 retreats coming up. We got a lot of people in the room that are going to be here. A lot of people that were here. I'm super excited for that in Cape Cod. Yeah, I'll get to that point in a second. And next week's call, we're going to have, which is going to be part of the retreat. We have Lala Deaton, who's in our community. She's a professional singer-songwriter from Nashville, and she is going to be sharing her story. She has a lot of things she can share as well that's going to not only help our community, but the world as well. So, and she's featured on the song that I wrote for Faye, which will be getting mixed and mastered this week. So that'll be released pretty soon as well. Also, so really quick, just an announcement. I'm going to put this in the feed. Someone in here, Cosette, she mentioned something. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Tenzin, but he's creating the app, the centralized app for the Dr. Joe community. I think a lot of people are aware of this, but there's a GoFundMe, and I just wanted. This is something that's really important for the world, the future. This is the younger generation that's really trying to make an impact with technology in a way that's positive and actually can help the world. Not just wasting your time sitting still. So this is why it's so important. So Cosette, if you had just like 30 seconds to a minute, and then I'll post some stuff later, but I just want to make sure I mentioned everything. And if not, just if you want to talk about it for 30 seconds.
Yeah, no, Tenzin, he wants to be a guest speaker, so he can put it out there what it's all about, but it's connecting everybody on one platform. So we're not broken up so much, or if you've met somebody or, at a retreat you want to connect with, that information will be there. It's bringing the whole community together in one place.
Awesome. All right. Yeah, you guys are going to hear more about it, but I did want to plant that seed because it is really important. There's a GoFundMe. He's almost at his goal, but he's getting a lot of support already. So it's really exciting stuff. Again, within this Dr. Joe bubble, we're changing the world big time right now. And on to the main man, Josh. So we met the way that we met was really cool. It's just a dot connecting synchronicity moment where it's just by chance, which is how a lot of us are in this room right now, where he was trying to Shazam or Google a song that was being played, which was my song. And he was right next to one of my best friends, Amy. in the community. And she's like, oh, I know that guy. And then she said, hey, we meditate in the morning. You want to be a part of it? And then that's how Josh became a part of this group. So if that never happened, this wouldn't be going on right now. That's why every moment's so important to just go with the flow and just go with it. So that right there is just really great. So again, I was honored to meet Josh. We have a lot of skill sets in common. We're going to be working on some EDM music in the future. He does a lot of visual art assistance within our WhatsApp feed. He does a lot of the marketing material. He helped a lot with the polar plunge. He created the tattoo design. Yes, we have a tattoo for the Cape Cod. That's how real it was. So we got a tattoo. So anybody can get that, but we're definitely getting it. And we're already discussing some retreats for the future that Josh is going to be a part of with me, Michael, and Josh, and some other people as well. But yeah, we got a lot going on. Josh, you're my brother. I'm really honored to know you. Without further ado, my man Josh Whiteland.
Thank you, Robby. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, the other calls I've been on, you guys are right. Like when I'm normally not hard. It's not hard for me to talk, but right now I'm sitting here going, oh my gosh. So
you got it. Yeah, you got this shit, and it's going to be real quiet, as I warned you. It's going to be awkwardly quiet.
I just want to say, for me, I have to get out of the way, and I just saw it to do that. I just do my thank yous first. So I just want to thank everybody for being here, and I want to thank especially Sherry and Ed. They're very, very close to me. Ed is another veteran, and I don't know what I'd do. He's actually turning 75 next Saturday, and he's a Vietnam veteran, and I don't know what I'd do without him in my life. And Kelly's on here somewhere too, someone very close who lives in town with me. And I just want to thank her for being on here, and everybody. Oh, so let's see here. Where do I begin? I guess I'll begin by getting in coherence. So
we're here for you, brother.
So this is the first time I've told this story in this way. As Dr. Joe says, our stories, we tell ourselves these stories over our lives, and half of it's not even true, and so as I go, and if we remove emotion, from a story or from a memory, then it becomes wisdom. But I'm just so grateful. Every time I do this, every time I talk, God just humbles me. He just rips my heart open. So here we go. So I'm from Wichita Falls, Texas. I was born in Oklahoma, August 30th, 1985. My mom moved back to Texas pretty quickly. I was only up there about 6 months. And that's relevant because, growing up, I had a pretty good childhood. Everything was magical. The late 80s and 90s were just a very nostalgic period. Everything just felt amazing during those times. All the movies, I loved E.T., I loved Star Wars, I loved just everything that was going on. I started going to school. I went to school here in Wichita Falls Elementary School, and I guess that's kind of where where the story begins. And forgive me, I'm going to try to tell this story from the best, because my perception my perception of my life today is completely different. My perception of my life is absolutely incredible. So I'm going to try to tell this in a full circle. But as I go there, I sometimes have to go back to these memories. So I grew up here in Wichita Falls. I went to elementary school, and from just about as far back as I can remember, came this moment. My parents separated when I was young, and there became this moment when I can vividly recall not feeling like everybody else, not feeling good enough, and that kind of played out. I remember I would be in elementary school, and all the other kids would be playing on the gym.
Should I use for those?
The gym equipment, and
Josh, hold on. Sorry, Josh, hold on one sec. I'm going to mute everybody and then unmute yourself.
Mr. Big?
Apologies.
No, that's fine. Is it what was in there? Can I just
It was
rub it out?
it was the fried bread from the Reubens.
Okay.
All right, that was fun. So
Okay.
Side note, if anybody got that one. Okay.
Okay, so yeah, so I remember being in elementary school. I remember all the other kids, you know, they would be playing on the equipment, and I'd be sitting out in this field behind the school trying to catch butterflies. And every once in a while, a friend would come out and we would try to play karate or do something different. But I just remember feeling different. I didn't, you know, all these other kids had a dad. I didn't have this dad, and so I believed at the time that something was different, that something was wrong with me. As I moved forward, I had some struggles in school. I was given tests because the teachers thought that's, you know, that I had some kind of learning disability, but the problem was that I just talked too much, and it was a behavioral issue. And I remember I would get good grades, but I'd always get a bad grade in behavior. And I remember taking it to my grandfather, and my grandfather said, anybody can get an A in behavior if they just keep their mouth shut. And I've had a problem keeping my mouth shut for the rest of my life. And so here I am, and my grandfather's not here anymore, but here I am talking still. So so I had a problem with behavior, but I just recall feeling different. I recall not feeling comfortable in my own skin. And as I had close friends and as I grew up, there began to create this dichotomy, and that dichotomy was to be a man. And what is that? How do I measure that? How do I achieve it? Do I have to grow a certain height? Do I have to become a certain thing? And I just remember feeling different. I remember feeling that I wanted a father. I wanted somebody to teach me how to do things. I developed this anger around that for a very, very long time. So I grew up. My mom remarried, had some difficulties there. She ended up divorcing, and then I ended up in high school. So I ended up in high school, and I remember I was about 14. Mind you, I also remember, so I'm going to back up. My family always drank a lot, and my family, and this is not a, a blame thing or anything like that, but my family drank, and I remember them, they would always, whenever they would have like anxiety or be nervous, my grandmother would always say, Josh, can you just go get me a nerve pill? And she would take this pill, and they would drink. And the point of that is that I took this idea at that time that I don't feel comfortable in my own skin, but when I get to a certain age, I'll be able to put something in me, and then I'll be able to feel okay. And that's what I did. So at 14 years old, I drank alcohol for the first time. And when I drank alcohol, it did something for me that I don't think it quite does to everybody else, but it made me feel like I could do anything. It made me feel like I could dance. I suddenly felt comfortable in my own skin. I could talk to girls. I could be myself. I finally felt 100% part of. And I remember something in my mind clicking and saying, I want to be like this the rest of my life. I want to be in this state. If I can operate from this state for the rest of my life, I'll be okay. I'll be able to get through this. And what I truly struggled with is a more problem. It's a Josh problem, and it's a more problem. If that, I always needed more. So once I put that in me, I needed more of it. And one was never enough, and 1,000 was never enough, and one was too many. And that's what it was for me. I ended up using other substances. I dropped out of high school. The whole point of this is I just didn't feel good enough, and I still longed for that father figure. I was still struggling to be a man, and what that is, and how to feel emotions, and it was a mess. But then around the time 2003, the war had just started in Iraq, and I had dropped out of school, and I thought I couldn't stop drinking, but I could really quickly see that my life was going to be going down that road. So I decided I'll do what I normally do, which is run, and I'll join the military. So I joined the military, and I thought, well, that'll bring quest, that'll bring adventure, that'll get me out of Wichita Falls, because at this point, my perspective is Wichita Falls is the problem. The people around me are the problem. My father not being here is the problem. My childhood is the problem. There was just everything else was the problem. So I joined the military. I joined the Army. I joined the infantry. I remember going to take the ASVAB, and I scored very, very high on the ASVAB. I scored so high that they made me retake it because they thought I cheated. And so I retook the ASVAB, and I scored the exact same score. And they said I could do anything that I wanted. They said that I could go into nuclear, biological, that I could go into all of these advanced applications. And I said, no, I want to join the infantry. And they said, well, why would you want to join the infantry? And in the infantry, if anybody doesn't know, is just the guys on the ground with the guns. So I joined the infantry, and not just that, I had to go because I have a more problem. I went to Ranger School, Airborne School, a whole bunch of schools, and I'll get into that later. But as soon as I went to basic training again, I felt a part of. I felt that brotherhood. I felt that unity, but still felt just a little bit different. Still felt a little bit uncomfortable in my own skin. I couldn't drink while I was in basic training, so that that during that time, I felt okay. Something was missing. It wasn't enough, so I got married. I was 18. I got married to a girl that was older than me. We have 3 sons together, and that was the first thing I thought too. That'll fix my problem. A girl, a relationship. It's what I'm describing is a God-sized hole inside of me, and not enough. Nothing is going to fill that, and I tried to fill it with every single thing I could, from the United States Army to war, to relationships, to children, to stuff, to houses, to money, to education, to everything that I could. So I joined the Army. I went to war. I went to Iraq. 2000. I joined in 2003. I was in Iraq by late 2004, early 2005, and I spent 15 months there, and it wasn't what I thought. I mean, the word that I would use when I experienced that was, without getting into it, was disillusioned. I came back and I felt very disillusioned about what was going on, what we were doing, things like that. And I don't want to go, really far into that mindset. But at the time, there was just another thing. There was another thing for me to add to why I'm angry. There's another thing to add to what's wrong with everything else. So I came home and I did what I always do, and I drank. And I remember I took leave. I came back here to Wichita Falls, and this is an important part because I remember I felt it's kind of like you want to commit suicide. You don't want to literally outright do it, but you're going to drink yourself or do something to death, that you don't really care whether you live or die. And from the things, that I had experienced and during that time, and what I believed or what my perception was very intense. And I remember I came home on leave, and then I guess the truth is I don't remember. I woke up in ICU about 3 days later. I had overdosed on medications and alcohol, and they said I died. And that, I remember coming to my wife at the time had came down. I had my oldest son. He was born by this point, and they're just wondering what's going on. And I can't explain to them. I cannot describe to them what's going on. I just kind of, made a joke about it, but the fact was that I died. And even in that experience, I don't talk about it a whole lot, but it was a sense of home. It was a sense of freedom and oneness and love, and everything was good. And I remember coming back and just feeling like, oh my gosh, like I'm back here. This continued. I deployed. I straightened up. The army started to buckle down on some of my behaviors. I succeeded, very, very, very well in the Army. But they weren't going to deal. They didn't want to really deal with any of that stuff. They wanted me to fight the good fight and to lead soldiers and do my job. And that's what I did. I was able to put everything down, and I did that for almost 10 years. I didn't drink from the age of 21 until 30. I rose into the ranks of the military. I went to every almost elite school that they had at the time. I won leadership awards in advanced leadership. I received multiple awards. I deployed three more times over that period between Iraq, Afghanistan, and other Middle Eastern countries. And I did this, and it worked. And it was like every time I would start to feel uncomfortable, I would either relocate, I would move, geographical location hop, or I would go to a different school, or I would go to war. And if I could do those things, it would be enough to shove inside that massive hole inside of my chest. So again, nothing is ever enough. So I keep adding on. So I started going to school. I went to college while I was I was going to school like a madman. It was just like the more they would do, the more classes I could take at once, the more I would take, and the more I would do. I ended up, so about at the age of 30, I was starting to get very, very miserable in my relationship. I had 2 more sons at this point, and I decided that that I needed to make this change. Or I needed to do a change and a location change, because again, I can't figure out what the problem is, but I'm never willing to look at myself. I'm just looking at my environment. Now it's the war. Now it's my childhood. Now it's the town I'm from. Now it's on and on and on and on and on. Right. And so I ended up getting transferred to South Korea. I get transferred to South Korea. My marriage was failing. It had moved into divorce. And I remember deciding that I was going to take a drink. So I took a drink, and I remember thinking that, I'd stopped when I was 21, maybe because I'm 30 now, maybe I'm mature enough. Maybe I was just too young. Maybe I was just too immature. I'm still immature. So, but but I thought maybe I'm 30 now, maybe I can handle it. So I took a drink, and quickly I started, I started drinking every day, and it progressed even faster. I was drinking every day. I was drinking in the morning. The marriage was failing. I was still being able to hold on for a while. I was an instructor in South Korea. So I was teaching, I think it was basic leadership. And what I don't think it was, I know it was. So I was teaching basic leadership, and I was just doing whatever I wanted to do, and just blacking out. I ended up, from that point, I'd hoped that I'd get transferred back I was at Colorado, went from Colorado to South Korea, but I was hoping I would get transferred back at the time. And that wasn't the Army's plan. The Army transferred me to upstate New York, Watertown, New York, which is up north of Syracuse, about 80 miles north of Syracuse. And I'm from Texas, and it's very cold up there and absolutely miserable. But
it is very cold. It is very cold up there.
Yeah, it has a lake effect, and it's very cold. And so I transferred up there. During that time, I was still drinking. I was still hiding it. I had made it out of Korea. At this point, they had sent me to West Point, to the United States Military Academy, to teach cadets in the summer. So I trained cadets during the summer on their field leadership exercises. And it was good, but I was just packing everything down. I was just packing every emotion I had. And it came to this point. I finished my bachelor degree, and I had started graduate school at Syracuse University. Again, it was more. I was going there, and they said, well, why don't you apply to Syracuse? So I applied to Syracuse, and I was just more. And it finally just hit me. Somebody asked me, I think it was a therapist. I'd started seeing a therapist. I thought I was struggling with, post-traumatic stress disorder. And the therapist said, well, why are you in the Army? And why are you doing all this? Why have you done all of this stuff? And it just like dawned on me. It just poured down on me that I was trying to be good enough. I was trying to be, as the very first part of that statement, I was trying to be man enough. I was trying to demonstrate that I was good enough, and I was going to show the world how good I was. And it didn't matter how many things I accomplished, how many awards I got, how much money I made, how much rank I achieved. I never felt good enough. From that point on, the Army, they medically retired me. I was at 15 years. They medically retired me. And again, I thought it was, now I think it's the Army. I think it's the Army's issue. And so I medically retire and I apply to Amazon. So I get a job at Amazon, and I get out of the Army, or I retire April 21st, 2018. I started at Amazon May 21st, 2018. So I took 30 days of leave and I went right in to Amazon as an operations manager. And they moved me to Kansas City. Mind you, I got out of the Army single. I was divorced. I quickly met somebody else, married somebody as fast as I could, because again, I can't be alone, right? I can't be alone, and I can't. I don't know how to do a relationship, but I can't be alone. So I married somebody very quickly. It was obviously, as you can imagine, wasn't a very good relationship, and I was in Kansas City. I got transferred to Oklahoma City as an operations manager for Amazon Logistics, and I'm crushing it. I'm crushing it, but I can't keep up because the more that I'm working, the more that I'm executing, the more that I'm drinking. Now I'm starting to have to use other things so that I don't black out. And this is my life. This is how I'm running. Fast forward just a little bit of time, not much, maybe about 6 months later, I had reached some people, they call it a psychotic break. It was a psychotic break. It was I had every single thing stuffed inside of me, and I couldn't handle it anymore. And even at one point when I used to be able to lead effectively, and I used to be very good at my job in the military, I had gotten to a point that I could not function anymore. And I had even gotten to a point where I decided that I wanted to stop drinking, but I couldn't. I couldn't stop. And I tried with all of my might. I ended up taking a leave of absence from Amazon. The girl that I was with, she had left. I ended up in a house, the power shut off, and and there I am. I'm in my misery. I can't stop with all of my might. But I would dump everything out. I would get up in the morning. I would dump it all out, get up in the morning. I'd cry myself to sleep. I'd get up in the morning. I'd go buy it all again. And it was pure insanity. I always tell people that I said one of the most dangerous prayers that you can say. And that was at that moment, and now mind you, as I'm moving into some of, more of the spiritual experience and Dr. Joe, at this point, my whole idea of religion, between the war and growing up, to think what I'd grown up in, ideas of God and everything like that was all super distorted. And I was super, super angry about it. So at this point, when I finally said, okay, if there's a God, if there's a source, help me. And that's what happened. The next day, I went to jail. And I went to jail, and I'm crazy. I'm out of my mind. And I tell you this, not for special effects or for any other reason, but for maybe if it can help anybody else. So I'm in jail, and I'm butt naked, and I'm suicidal. And this was my experience. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I knew that I was done. And that day was December 23rd, 2019. And that day, I know that day very well because it's the last day that I ever drank. It's the last day that I ever used, and my life changed drastically from that point. I ended up going to treatment. I spent 30 days into treatment, but I started to come awake to a lot of things. I started to come awake to my life, to who I was. I remember this voice very, very clear. I was deep in prayer. It was a point of being put on my knees into a place of surrender. And I had been fighting, for such a long time. And so I remember praying, and I remember this voice that said, Josh, if you want to change the world, change yourself. And I remember that just spoke to me. It was in that moment I realized I had been so angry at feeling different from the world, feeling different than the people around me, blaming so much stuff. I didn't fully have this shift right then, but it was a beginning. That voice said, if you want to change the world, change yourself. And it said, and if you still want to change the world, then make your bed. And so I began, and it was a start. I went into another.
That bed behind you, by the way. Look at
it's
the bed
made.
behind you right there.
Yes. I started another spiritual program, and as you can tell, by my story, that I struggle with alcohol, and I started another. I'm a recovered alcoholic, and so I worked another spiritual program, which was massive to my transformation and massive to my emotional rearrangement, and I did that. I did that for I think I was going on almost 2 years at the time. And part of this, there's 12 steps in that program. And in the 11th step, it talks heavily about prayer and meditation. And I was still having and so from, moving on from that phase, what I was still struggling with was fight or flight. I was still struggling with survival mode. I had realized that, in my childhood and in the military, I had harnessed survival mode very well. I was very elite and very hyper vigilant. I could pay attention to the things around me. Things happened, in combat that that I was, things were happening. I became very, very in tune with my intuition. I always thought that I could almost create things with my mind, whether it was in combat, whether even as a kid. I remember as a little kid telling people, I think I'm creating this with my mind. And of course, growing up, they told me, that's not true. Dr. Joe says that too. So I really related with that. But yeah, so all these, my survival mode is, I'm just stuck in it. I'm literally stuck in survival mode on overdrive. And I don't know, I felt like it's almost like a wild animal. I think the only people that understand me are other veterans. I think that I don't want to talk about it. But I started going to treatment centers to talk to veterans about alcoholism, because that's what I realized. I was like, well, my whole journey, that before I can even begin anything, I have got to get off of this, of this modality, of the alcohol. I had to, and substances. I had to get off of that. I was, even at the time that when I got out, the VA had disabled me 100%. Mind you, and there's so many parts to this. So the VA had disabled me 100%, combat related. They had set me up with several doctor's appointments, therapists, and a whole bunch of psychotropics, drugs, all kinds of medications. And after that stint in the treatment center, I came out with multiple diagnoses, from bipolar 2, severe complex PTSD, psychosis. This is relevant later, but a whole bunch of stuff. I had also, when I went into treatment, I tested positive for alcoholic hepatitis, and my legs were swollen up. After 30 days in treatment, they tested me 3 more times. I tested positive for it 3 more times. The last day they tested me, I tested 100% negative. It was completely gone. And that was important, because I knew that I was operating in some world of the spirit, but I didn't understand how it was one way and then suddenly it was a different. I continued to work, work steps, and to have what in this other program I work in is called a psychic change, to completely, turn away from the things that were ripping me apart. I at this, if you can imagine, as a veteran in my job in the military, I'd owned tons and tons of guns. I remember there was this time that it was maybe about 6 months sober. I just decided to sell all my guns. I decided to, it was God again spoke, this, this source and energy spoke to me and said, it's time to turn in the sword for a pen or for a cloak. You need to give this up. And so I did. I took that leap of faith. I realized that, either this is either everything. I'm either going to go all in on this, or it's nothing. Coming back to my life started to get tremendously better. I was still seeing therapists. I was still on the medication that the VA prescribed, because the doctors recommended it. But around this time, I started having an idea. I wanted to heal from these things, and I realized that the more that I talked about it, the more the more that I just kept, if I talked to other veterans, it was just, we kept circling these stories. We just kept validating each other into these situations, into this fight or flight, into this behavior. So I had an idea. I thought, well, I went to the doctor. I got a new doctor, and I told him, I said, I want to come off all medications. I said, but I want to do this under your care, where you're a phone call away, but I want to do this. I want to heal. And so he was like, I actually knew him. It's so many synchronicities. I knew him growing up. I knew his son actually. And he was like, okay, let's do this. So I got off all medications. Then I went to, it was step 11 in the Alcoholics Anonymous program, talks about continued conscious contact with a power greater than myself through prayer and meditation. So I got this thing down, I was praying, and everybody said, well, praying is talking to intention. But I don't know how to meditate, so I would ask around, I would ask different people how to meditate. So I started bringing all this meditation, or these ideas about meditation. And then I went to visit my aunt in Colorado, and she had sent me an email about this guy. Y'all might have heard his name's Dr. Joe Dispenza. And they said this organization was giving away a scholarship. And mind you, at this time, like I'm super lit at this point. Like I'm watching Gaia, I'm watching every single, from the pyramids to Hermetic, to the Kabbalion, to Wayne Dyer, to Ram Dass, to everything. And I'm trying to piece this. So, and I got like a whole bunch of pieces, right? I have a whole bunch of pieces to the puzzle, but I can't, I believe in it 100%. I understand frequency, I understand vibration, but I can't like piece it together. So boom, I get this email from my aunt. She says, these people are giving away a scholarship to a veteran to go to a Dr. Joe event. So of course, I pulled up a YouTube video of Dr. Joe. I watched the Dr. Joe video for not even 3 minutes, and I knew instantly that I was like, yes, 100%. So I signed up, but I was very humble about how I signed up. I said, I'm a veteran. I'm a pretty stable guy. I said, I still struggle with fight or flight. I'm still struggling with being able to get over some stuff. But I'm pretty stable today. The next day, it wasn't even it was like 24, 48 hours. I get an email, and they were like, oh, it was you. You've been selected for the scholarship. So I tell you that as a synchronicity is how fast.
Let's go.
Yeah, how fast it happened. So that was last. I guess it was around this time. It was about a year ago right now. And I put that application, I think it was May. So maybe it was about a month from now. So it was May, I put in the application, I get the scholarship. By June, I was in Cancun, and I had taken, I think Montana's on the call too. They had let me, I'd asked, can my girlfriend come? And they had said, absolutely, we want her to have this too. And they flew us, or I had to pay for the airfare, but they paid for the event and everything like that. So we went to Dr. Joe, and it just blew me away. And I remember Dr. Joe saying that if you want to change the story, or if you want to change, he said, if you want to heal, you just have to change your mind. And that just struck me, because I was like, to change your mind. And then I was like, how do you do that? And then he says, of course, as the retreat goes on, he says, we have to quit telling the stories. And he said, even the stories that we tell, we add to it. So it just started lighting me up. I started realizing it, that when I tell, the first it came down to is life is traumatic. When you're born, that's traumatic. When you get stung by a bee the first time, that's traumatic. But the story that I tell around that, right? So the first time, let's say I get stung by a bee, and I tell you I got stung by this bee and it was so terrible. And my body releases, he's saying my body releases an emotion, releases in a chemical, right? I have an emotion. Well, if I want to replay that emotion, well, then I got to tell the story again in my head, or I got to tell it to somebody else and get validation for it. Well, now I'm going to add to it, right? Well, I got stung by a bee, and then it brought his friend, and 6 of them stung me. And then it's going to keep increasing the story, because I've got to keep telling it. Well, I'd realized I had been doing this all across my life in every single dimension. So that was the sudden the revelation. For me, that was like, if you want to do something different, you have to quit telling the story. In the other program, we talked a whole lot about being honest, and it talks a whole lot about not knowing being able to differentiate the true from the false. So when I came into Dr. Joe's and he's talking about these telling these stories and we add to them, I was like, that's so true. I can't tell that, I can't tell the true from the false. I don't even know where I am inside of all of that, because I've built this identity around myself for so long. And so it clicked. So we started meditating, and of course we're at the event, and it just keeps getting better and keeps getting better. And I start coming in harder to the meditations. I was like, well, I'm going to go all in. I have this military mindset. So I'm like, Dr. Joe, if you tell me A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, like, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to give everything I got, execute it. Tell me exactly how to do it. Tell me how to do the breath, teach me the energy centers. I'm going to absorb it like a sponge, and I'm going to go. And it just kept happening. And it was kind of like I think Cheryl said it last week, kind of like being like a newborn deer. It's like we would get done with meditations and we would go eat with people, and I would still be like, well, how do I present the new me, and how do I stop telling this story? But how do I, so I would tell a little bit, and then I would practice, and then, but still it would get better, and I would quit slowly telling that story, or removing emotion from it, because I realized that the emotion. So the same in meditation, I started realizing that, well, hold on, if where I place my awareness is where I place my energy, I started to see how that unfolded in all of these areas of my life, from combat to stuff, to creating stuff. And I realized that I was manifesting, whether I was manifesting in love or if I was manifesting in fear, that it works both directions. And I was the more I put my awareness on something that I was fearful of, well, guess what? The more that it kept going, or the more that I desired something, the more that would start flowing in. In fact, at the time, so we finished that event, and I knew absolutely. We came home, and I was like, this is what I want to spend the rest of my life doing. And so there was, I remember trying some different experiments at the time. This is after, if y'all remember, after COVID, I needed a different car, and there was no cars. There was a car shortage. Like, it was hard to get cars anywhere, and I wanted a specific car. And I remember I kept meditating on it. And I remember my friend telling me, he works at a car dealership, and he's like, well, we don't have any of those cars, and blah, blah, blah. I ended up getting a car, and then like a week later, he says a truck pulls up with like 10 of these cars on the truck, and he doesn't know where they came from, that they hadn't ordered them, and they just, sent from the dealership and all of these things. So there's multiple, I have tons and tons and tons of stories I could tell across my life where I knew that I was creating with my mind. And that.
Can I ask you a question on that?
Yeah. Yes.
When were you always clear that you were creating with your mind, or did it take a little convincing because you didn't have like the support system behind it? Just curious.
I always believed that I was creating with my mind. I would just, whenever I would just doubt myself. I would just doubt, but I had a million experiences. And when I would ask somebody else, then they would normally reason it, right? They'd say, well, no, you did this and you did this and you did this. But still inside, deep down inside, I knew that there was something more than what I was, what I was experiencing.
Yeah. Thank you. Because that's one of the million reasons why we're doing this, is more dots are connecting, because you're not alone, man. There are so many of us that we've been dealing with this or going through the same things our whole life. I'm so happy you shared that. Thank you. So
I come home. So if you remember, I told you I had all of these diagnoses, right? And when I got home, I told Montana, I said, I'm going to stop saying that. I'm going to stop saying that I have severe complex PTSD. I'm going to stop saying that, because I have to stop saying it if I want to walk out of it. I have to stop telling the stories. I have to stop, because that's what I realized. As soon as I own everything, as soon as I own my entire life, when I took, as I told you, through all this process, when I realized that the problem with with Josh is Josh. It wasn't all of these other things. It was all inside of my mind. Every single, every perception, every perspective that I had, it didn't matter what it was. It became this, it's extreme ownership, where I am responsible for everything in my life. And why would you not want to take ownership for your life? Well, because then that means I'm responsible for every single thing in my life. And that's a very scary thing, but that was the unknown. But that was the decision, that I'm going to take responsibility for my entire life. So after this point, I go back to the doctor. I go to a completely separate psychology. I get tests done, and complete tests. It took me 2 months. Every type of personality test. I'm talking through the rigor of every psychological test, severe complex PTSD tests, psychosis, bipolar, anxiety, ADHD, executive functioning, IQ. I'm talking the entire gambit. And every single out of all of those tests that came back, it said slight anxiety. That was it. And I was like, well, who doesn't have slight anxiety? But that was the evidence. So I have that. I have an entire, tons of paperwork showing you that I was one way, alcohol use disorder, all the way to this other side. And now, today, my perspective has changed. It's beautiful. My experience, my childhood is absolutely beautiful. My, what I realized what I've wanted my entire life. Do you know what a man is? A man is somebody who can open their heart as wide as they can, is this vulnerability, is using that energy from the lower sinners and being vulnerable. And that was my natural state. But as I grew up, I tricked myself and believed that I was separate. So I don't say I have post-traumatic stress disorder. I said I have post-traumatic serenity disorder. It's through all of the experiences of my life are an absolute blessing that I understand. I realized duality, right? I realized that, well, how do I know I want a warm shower? Well, because I've experienced a very, very cold shower, and I've experienced a very, very hot shower. And so I know I have I want a warm shower, right? But I wouldn't understand. I wouldn't have the contrast of life. I wouldn't have the beauty of it if it wasn't for the things that I've experienced. My heart switched from a place of anger and fear to a place of gratitude and appreciation. And that ended up being the key. And I didn't know how to do it. So, and as I said, I went to Dr. Joe, had all these puzzle pieces, and it's like Dr. Joe put them together. And when he explained the formula of that, because then I realized when he said a memory minus emotion equals wisdom, then I had to say, well, so if a memory plus emotion equals, an experience, that's what I'm experiencing. Well, then why can't I use my imagination as my memory, create something, apply an emotion of joy and gratitude to it, and then experience that. And Dr. Joe, he talks about that, and that was incredible. At the Cancun event, I was there, and I remember I was a healer. And I remember going in there to do this, to be a healer. And I was entering this meditative state and going in, and I just suddenly realized that that to be healed is to heal. If that to give my life to others, everybody's getting healed. It was just this, I felt the energy in the entire room just flowing through everybody. I realized that, and I had been learning it, but I realized that the gate was through service, that the gate was through giving. And I had spent so much of my life being self-driven on selfishness and self-centeredness. That's why I say I have a self problem, I have a Josh problem. That was my problem. And so I realized I could pack all of these emotions, all of this stuff from the war that I thought was meant for negative or for negative memories. I was able to transmute that into immense amount of passion and energy and creation into my life. And I'm so grateful for all those experiences. So right after that, I went to I started generating a more abundance in my life, and I went to Marco Island that following August. So hadn't heard of Dr. Joe, went to Cancun, went to Marco Island in August. I went to Dallas in October and just kept growing and having more and more immense amount of experiences and just learning and learning and learning. And then I knew the next level I wanted to serve. So I signed up for Colombia, and I went to Colombia as a volunteer, and that was a new level of experience to be there and watch people coming in angry or upset, and then watch them transform over 2 days, and being of service to them was absolutely incredible. As I've told you, I'm a father today. I have 3 sons, and being able to be that compassionate, vulnerable father in their life, to be able to be the one sitting around meditating, and they're like, "What are you doing, Dad?" To be able to lead by that example is absolutely amazing. To be able to take the leadership and all of the gifts the military and the VA system takes very, very, very good care of me and my family. There's absolutely nothing wrong. My life was never. There was absolutely nothing wrong with my entire life. It was just the way that I viewed it. It was the way that I perceived it, and that's still true for me today. So I changed myself, and I always tell people that. They said, "How did you heal from?" And that was scary too, because I noticed other veterans I talked to, if you heal from this, then it's almost like you're not validating your service, and it's like that was, and there's so much work and energy around trying to get compensation for service and validation for service, that it hangs on to this. And I just had to make a choice that even if all of that goes away, I'm not afraid to step out on that ledge and to heal out loud. And I had to be willing to take that step and to take that walk and to give this thing away. And I've been taught that in the other program. If I want to keep this, I have to give it away. And so that's been my drive, is to show others my best practices and what works for me. And so I did that. I changed myself, and I make my bed. I get up in the morning, I make my bed, I do the best that I can at the meditations, at working with other people, at showing up. I'm so grateful for Robby's group, his let's go, or he says, let's fucking go. That's that motivation when I'm feeling those emotions, when I'm feeling those old ideas, when I'm feeling that self-pity, when I'm feeling that oh woe is me. I say that, yeah, I'm feeling that, let's go. And just showing up. Even when Robby was asking me if I wanted to do this Sunday, my first thought was, no, let's do it next week, because that's my body. My body says, no, I don't want to do this. I don't want to get on here and talk. And and it's not about me. It's not about me today. And that's what is this deal has showed me. This is, and especially in this meditation, especially in this community. And so that's what I do.
Sorry,
And
you're showing your growth right there too. Just that you're talking live right now, which is so fucking beautiful. Your humbleness right now is amazing. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, I've been taught very well, and some of the people that I told you in this room have taught me. I'm so grateful for them, and they come over. They were actually just over here at 4 p.m. meditating at the house with me, and we do different. We actually just did Courageous Heart, which is a men's meditation, but even Montana and the girls, we did that, and that was incredible meditation. So yeah, and so now and then so just realizing that everything was my perspective. So everything is an illusion. Everything is just that I'm believing that it's real, and I'm reacting to those environments. And I had to start doing things differently. And it wasn't just like instantaneous, right? It's like if I had a highway in my head, or an expressway of old ideas, I had to fire and rewire new ideas which makes like a dirt road off to the side, but the path, energy still wants to travel at the path of least resistance. So it's going to keep trying to go down that road, and I have to keep working it back until that dirt road becomes wider and wider, and that starts becoming the expressway, that starts becoming the new. And that's where, that's where I have to not take myself so seriously, not take it that we're gonna mess up, we're gonna make mistakes, I'm gonna say things that I wish I didn't say, I'm gonna believe the illusion or believe the lie again. That's what my friends, that's what I tell them. What'd you do? I believe the lie again. I believe that, we're separate. I believe that I believed it. I went hook, line, and sinker. And I do that. I have those days. But it has gradually, shifted into this world that is beyond my wildest dreams. I mean, it absolutely is. We went to Cape Cod, went to the unknown, was hanging out with Robby. I was sitting in Colombia. Revelation came on, and we just finished a meditation. I just came out of meditation, and it talks about how things they don't come from the known. They come from the unknown, right? So I'm thinking this platform or my life is going to go through this place, maybe the known or some veteran organization. No, it becomes this revelation song from this. I'm Googling the lyrics because I want to hurry up and keep the song. I want the song because it meant so much to me. And the person sitting next to me, Amy, she goes, I know him. That's Robby. I was just texting him. And that's like right there, just happened right there that fast from the unknown. So then I was in Cape Cod. We're having a blast, jumping in the ocean. Went up to Michael's house. He says the waves are hitting his windows. And you know how somebody says, yeah, my house, the waves are literally hitting the windows. And you're like, okay, yeah, maybe so. No, they're literally hitting the windows, literally. And we get up there and we keep going into this unknown, and we're all there. Nobody's telling their stories, right? Nobody is going into, and if we start to drift into that we kind of guide each other, and we just stay in the now. We just stay in the present moment, because that's the only thing that's real. There is no, the past doesn't exist. The future doesn't exist. The only thing exists is right now. And even when it comes to emotions, when can you feel emotions? Only right now. So when I tell myself that, when I'm telling that story, whatever story I'm telling myself, I'm experiencing the emotion right now. And when I experience it right now, then I'm telling the universe that I want to experience more of that, because it doesn't understand yes or no. It just understands energy, which is awareness. So if I'm constantly thinking about a negative thing, and the universe thinks, oh, he wants to experience that, let's give him more of that. And it doesn't, that's how it operates. So again, too, like I was telling Montana today, I heard something and I said, I don't want to, like, it's a statement. One of the statements I'll say to avert my thoughts is what other people think are none of my business. But another statement is I don't want to place my thoughts on that. And that sound, and I use that, somebody might say, hey, and this big extra special effects thing. And I'll just say, okay, I don't want to place my thoughts on that. I'm not agreeing or disagreeing, but that's just one of the ways that I navigate, through the world and different things that are going on. So I was also going to leave you guys with, with three things that I use that has been very powerful to me. And it was taught to me in the military, and I apply it to this work, and it's absolutely the answer for me. And that is I show up, and I show up a lot. So it doesn't matter how I feel inside, how I feel emotionally, how I feel mentally, I show up anyways. I sometimes have to keep my mouth shut. Like I told you in the beginning, I have to learn to keep my mouth shut, because that fixes more problems for me than anything in the world is if I just keep my mouth shut. But if I just show up, and I show up a lot, no matter what. Number two is I work hard. I do the best that I can, and I don't compare myself to other people. I just know for my own self what's the best for Josh. And if I didn't do the best today, then I just make that correction of how I might do it tomorrow. But I do the best I can, and you can only do what that is for you. And the third is I be coachable and teachable. and ask questions. And so I try to stay in a newcomer's attitude. Is the moment that I get too big for my britches or too up on my high horse and I think I know the answers, is I find out I don't know anything. And that's really the truth. I don't know. I'm just one water drop. This is just one story of one water drop, in the ocean. And I hope that, I did it justice, and that, yeah. So, and then, moving forward, so this is what I want to do. I want to help veterans. So I also, when I got back from Colombia, some people that were with NeuroChange Solutions, if you're familiar with that, told me, you've got to sign up for this. You have got to sign up. And as soon as you get back, you need to fill out the application. So, NeuroChange Solutions is Dr. Joe's consulting company. And with all the people that I talked to, Dr. Joe always says, do not teach my work. You can teach best practices, but don't teach my work. And so, get trained to teach my work, so that you don't dilute it. And so I signed up. I made it through the first gate. I've got it approved, and then the second gate was I had to fill out a longer application and submit a video teaching from Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, which is submitted. And that's what I want to do. I want to take this work to veterans, to corporations, to leadership, how to do the mental rehearsals, and how to manifest your life, and how to download your future. And that's, a lot of that. I always tell the people that are around me that I'm a wizard. In fact, when I first met Montana, she was like, "What do you do?" I told her, I said, I'm going with this. I'm a wizard. That's what I do. That's what I do. I said, I'm in the miracle business. And that's what I do. And I want to continue to help other people, other veterans, and not just veterans, anybody, because everybody experiences trauma. Everybody starts getting stuck in that circular reasoning, circular thinking. I just knew that that's an area, that's one area I can go, because I've been down that road. And man, I'm just so grateful to be with you guys. I'm so grateful for this opportunity. And yeah, with that, I'll open it up. 9:08.
Woo, thank you, Josh, man. Holy shit.
Thank
Everybody,
you.
all right, Michael, I see your hand, but if you got 1 second, if anybody who has a comment, question for Josh, thank you so much. Thank you to you. Thank you to the other veterans on the call as well. God bless you all for putting your life on the line for all of us in this physical form. You guys are amazing. Seriously, so touching. Josh, you are the fucking man. Just your perspective in life, your perspective of where you are right now, and just the things that are unfolding just by going with the flow. Like even at the end of your conversation right there, you were telling me about your presentation where you're like, I got to get this done, and you got it done. You're like, I got this pocket of time for the Dr. Joe, the neuroscience. You were telling me,
Yes.
you're like, I got to get this done, and I'm getting it done, and you got it done. And things just unfold when you do that, man. It's
Yes.
incredible stuff. It's really incredible. Yeah, really, before Michael, I just want to say, you know, what you're saying, you're the true definition of what this community is. It's the Albert Einstein quote, which is, give me 2 seconds. I have it right here. Small minds discuss people, average minds discuss events, great minds discuss ideas. That is all we did the entire time. There's not one conversation except what are we going to do to help the world? That's it. And that's it. So thank you for being you. And you transform your negativity into positivity. That just is incredible how you can just do, you literally utilizing the same exact, whatever's in your hand, you utilize it. It was negative before, you turned it into positive. Nothing changed about it. You accept your perspective. So
Yes, exactly.
yeah, and your humbling perspective. So thank you so much. Michael, I'll hand it off to you. My brother.
So it's such a heartwarming that you would share that with us. Thank you. This truly takes a lot of courage to share that. And one of the things about this community is the people, and I was so fortunate to spend a little time with Josh in Cape Cod. And there's something, what Josh has done is touches every family, maybe in the world. What he has done, somebody in our families, in our connections, in our close connections, have gone through what he's gone through. Some type of addiction, some type of issue. I know it as my life. And he has dedicated his life in a beautiful way to help other people. So this community is, this is a personal challenge for me, is to see how I can help this beautiful person that has turned his life around and dedicated to help other people, how I can help him help other people. Robby has created this platform. He's the one that's thrown the first pebble. He's the one, the ripple in the pond. So if we can all throw a ripple in the pond to help this beautiful person affect the world in a space that the world needs help in. This is not just somebody, this is in our families, this is in our communities. And I guess I'll turn it back to you, Robby, but everybody, please throw a pebble in and help create the ripple into a tidal wave of this young, beautiful person.
Yeah, wow. Michael, yeah, every week is like this, where we have someone reach out and our community just helps build. I think, thank you for saying that. Yeah, any way we can help Josh, what you're doing, I guarantee 50 to 75% of the people can relate and can help. And it's just, I just love this. For planting the seed, or yeah, sorry, you go. I don't want to talk.
I was just gonna say, I'm just grateful, and I try to keep this focus too, that I didn't do it. Like, that's the thing about it. Josh can't do this. Like, all I do is show up.
Yep.
And there's the energy source, the community does it. It's like magic. I was one way and I'm a different way, and all I did was show up. And that's what that's all I'm gonna keep doing, is just showing up.
Yeah, and I agree. It's showing up. There's also something that's very special too, is allowing the natural flow of life happening. Because doing that, sometimes we get in our own way and we think we're doing, selfless, you don't want to accept help, but it's something I struggle with, and it's allowing the acceptance of that and just flow to go with showing up. It's powerful stuff. Powerful stuff. Yeah, we got good stuff.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah, it already is. This is what's nuts. Like, I have just a side question. Like, is this, and I'm not sure if you would have or not, but like, is this something you would have done pre-Cape Cod, or did you, like, as far as like, because you said it was something you had to think about, or when was the last? Is this something you could have saw yourself doing like 6 months ago? Just
What, this video?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I couldn't. My brain can't even conceptualize when I was 6 months. I can't conceptualize 6 months from now. My brain can't even begin to imagine what it's going to be. And I didn't know. I couldn't concept. I knew I wanted to help. I wanted to create a platform, and it literally just keeps showing up. It's not, I create some stuff, but it just keeps showing up. And then that's no, I couldn't concept. And even in so Colombia, I was in Colombia. I met these two beautiful people. One is a retired professor, and then his wife is a biologist, and they all of a sudden want to start a fundraiser. They want to start a fundraiser to help to start with this I'm going to complete NCS, to start taking us out to do workshops. Because that's what I realized. I realized that Dr. Joe they give out, maybe, I think Give to Veterans gives out maybe 10 scholarships a year. Last year they did, somewhere around there. I'm not exactly sure, but I knew that, well, I wanted to try to go get more veteran, if I could do like workshops here for 2 days, a 2-day workshop, then I wanted to, and so these two people, they were like, well, we want to create a fundraiser. And then all of a sudden, as that starts happening, I meet everybody in Cape Cod, and that's becoming more and more possible. And my idea of what that was so tiny, and it's growing, expanding beyond that. And then so I have all this paperwork here because I've for like a limited liability company, because I was like, well, I can't if this happens, I can't just grow fundraising to myself. And so everything just has been expanding, and that's where it's at right now. And then talking to Michael and wanting to do some other type of things, it just keeps expanding.
Yes, and can you talk on that? Because I think in Cape Cod, you have two friends that might even be on the call that are gonna be, oh crap, am I allowed to talk about this? Shoot. No, never mind. So, but we got a lot going on. Just you keep doing what you're doing. The energy is inspirational. And I'm actually gonna read, like, hold on one second. I'm reading about 1,000 messages that are written for you really quick.
Yes.
So, let's see. Let's fucking go. I love this guy. Wow, Josh, you are amazing. That's Ruth. I love this guy,
I
Danielle.
love Ruth.
Ruth,
I
you are
was
the
driving.
best.
I was driving Ruth's car. She picked us up, and I don't even know I'm driving her car. We're going to the Whole Foods.
Yes, yeah, that was how you're like, yeah, I just met Ruth. She just said, can you drive my car?
Yes.
And
Love
you
you too, Josh
guys-
and Montana.
Ruth, you are amazing.
Hey Josh, this is Kelly. I just want to tell you, it's amazing talk, and it's a wonderful thing to grow with you spiritually, man. Thanks a lot for the meditation today.
You're
I love
so
you.
welcome. Love you too.
Thanks for being on the call, Kelly.
Absolutely. Thank you. My pleasure.
Cosette, Jim, Thor, I see you. Give me 1 sec. So magnificent work, Josh from Cosette. Love you so much. You're a gift to all of us. I'm so proud, Heidi. Heal out loud. Love that one. Avis, Doctor, Kathy, thank you for being you, Josh. You are such a gift. Ilka, she actually stepped out. Wow, I wish you could talk to all my clients. Thank you so much. She's a therapist, for sharing. Hey, there we go. That
Yeah.
got connected. Boom, let's go. Thor, what's going on, my brother? I think I did ask to unmute. Hold on.
Unmute. Can
There
you
you
hear
go.
me?
There you go.
Yeah.
Josh, man, thank you very much. I think you just gave a synopsis of my life as well. Except I didn't make it to the military, and I haven't gone through all the stuff that you've gone through, but I didn't feel good in my skin, and I turned to beer. And when I remember being in my house, in my office, and saying, I have a hole in my heart and I don't know how to fill it.
Wow.
And I didn't have a dad, and this, that, and the other. And stories, baby, stories. It's so easy to fall into the stories, and that becomes who you are. And in high school, they used to call me fucking Fairchild. It's not a party till Jim either breaks something or hurts himself. And that literally became who I was. That's how I thought of myself. And I just stepped into that over and over again. And there's so many things that you said that completely resonate with me. And I have a question, but I also just want to say first that I really appreciate your help. And Josh is saying that he's out helping people, and he has really stepped forward and is trying to help me find a caregiver, and has suggested somebody, and is looking, and just all these things that are so heartfelt, and I so appreciate it. And you're doing it, man. You're doing it. The thing that I wanted to ask you is about heart, and about your heart, and what it took to open your heart after being through all that you've gone through, after closing down and being in survival mode. I've been in survival mode for a large majority of my life too, and it just becomes so familiar that that's what you think is normal, as Dr. Joe says. But I didn't think there was a time where I could take the emotion out of some of my memories, and I didn't know if I'd be able to have the wisdom. I didn't think I'd ever be able to quit drinking, and I don't drink anymore. But yeah, I'm just wondering what it was like, if you remember a time where you opened your heart, like when it started and what you did.
I mean, it's been so many, it's been so many moments that have slowly, led up to it. But if I had to like break it down into one thing, it was openly working with another man, telling him that I'm scared out of my mind, and him saying, I am too, but being honest, about wanting to be a better person. And I'm sorry, this breaks out my passion of my heart, wanting that, being willing to do, just to be honest with people around me. And when I realized that it's not just me, that it's all of us were, were nervous or afraid, or, and judging, and I was judging everything. And when I was judging everything, I was judging myself. And when I was able to have radical acceptance, and I say radical because that's what it takes, radical forgiveness, radical acceptance of what is, and then just being open and honest with somebody else, and then allowing other people to be open and honest with me. And it just happens. It happened. And then extensively at the first Dr. Joe retreat, when I was moving that energy and that music, and it just split open. It just poured open. And it's like ever since even that I've come home, it's never fully closed. It's gotten smaller. And I think Michael Singer says, don't worry about opening your heart. He says, just worry about not closing it. He said, just don't close it. And that's it. Anytime I'm operating from a closed heart, I just want to open it back up as fast as I can. And because it feels so good. And I didn't even know that feels better. That's because that's when I was drinking. That's what I was searching for, was that, what is it? Relaxed in the heart and awake in the mind, or that's what I was looking for. And to just all of those moments. I'd love to maybe to think about that more too.
Well, it's interesting that just a couple of days ago, I asked if you could do a one-on-one with me. So
Yes,
we've got
absolutely.
coming up, you and I know that we share a lot. So I look forward to talking with you. And
Yes, me too.
And I think what you just said is so, there's being honest with yourself,
Yes.
and saying you're scared. There's days where I don't get it. I don't know quite what's going on, and it's important to be honest with that and say, you know what, I'm scared today. We can hide that. I know that I can, and it's just a part of life.
Thanks, Thor. And your vulnerability is, again, what this community is about, man. Thank you for always sharing your stories, and thank you for that amazing answer as well, Josh. Kathy, what is up, sister?
Yeah. Thank you, Josh. That was just amazing and wonderful to hear all of that. I love your vulnerability. I love your courage. It's just something to totally be admired. Keep on going. It's awesome. I love what you said about it's how you show up and your example to your sons. So I have something to share with you and everyone here about what happened today with my grandson. He's 4. And I bought Dr. Joe's tape. Oh my gosh, this was back in 2019. And the first time I went to Niagara, and it's When Thoughts Become Things. It's the children's tape. And every once in a while, I just throw it into the car and I put it on. And today we were sitting in the car together, and he turns to me and he says, they call me Bebop. He says, so Bebop, will you please put on Dr. Joe? And I was like, Yeah, Dr. Joe. So
Let's go.
yeah, we put in Dr. Joe, and at the one point, Dr. Joe says, close your eyes, and Calvin closes his eyes, and he says, pick something that makes your heart feel good. So he's sitting there. I said, so Calvin, what are you seeing? And he says, I see a tiger, I see a cheetah, I see a bear, and I see a lion. I go, great. I said, so they make you happy? And he goes, yeah. And I says, that's awesome. And I said, so open your eyes and let's listen to the rest. And he goes, okay. And then we're listening to it, and he turns to me, closes his eyes, and he says, you know what? I love all the animals. I said, great. So I said, Calvin, when you feel sad or when you feel happy and you want to feel happier, I said, you can now just make that mental picture in your head and think of whatever animal you want. This little kid got so excited in the car. It was incredible. He had this big smile on his face. He goes, that's a good idea, Bebop. And then he looks at me, he goes, then he just says to me, I love Dr. Joe, because he's heard me say, I love Dr. Joe. But it's about showing up, I think, with that, because he and my other grandson see me meditating. And I've never said a word about it to them. I don't want to, push it down their throat type of thing, but it had to have registered somewhere. So I can relate to what you're saying. It's a great gift you're giving your sons. I mean, when you think about, I've learned this in my 60s. If I had the gift of 4 years old learning that, or even in my 20s, whoa,
Yes.
what life would have been different, right? So,
Yes.
and to the point now, I was not going to sign up for Niagara. I decided to go on the wait list for Niagara because
Nashville or Niagara?
I'm
Nashville.
sorry, I keep saying Niagara, Nashville. Thanks, Robby. Because I listened to the talk that Dr. Joe had with Dr. Patel, and they mentioned that in Nashville, they're going to hook up elder with kids. I go, that's it. My name's on the list.
Yeah.
And I got into Nashville. I volunteered for it. And I just got an email the other day saying, we will give you the information when you register. And that's where I want to contribute. I would love to contribute with kids. Love it.
Love it.
So just
Yeah.
wanted to share that because it was
Planting
fun.
those seeds.
My youngest son Gage, one day he calls and he said, Dad, can I get $10? And I have $10. I could send him $10. And I said, well, what if I teach you how to create it? And he said, okay. And so I taught him a special little, I said, I want you to, pray, address the universe and say, I'm here to talk about this, $10, and to pretend like you already have it, feel it in your hand, and basically the whole process. And so he goes through the whole thing. And the next day he's riding his bike and he says, he calls me, he lives in Colorado Springs. And he says, Dad, I was riding my bike. There was $10 just on the ground the next day, and I was like, and I told him, I said, would you rather me to give you $10 or to teach you, how to generate income? Yeah.
Perfect.
So
That's just perfect.
yes.
Great.
It's the mystical minds now have teachers and guiders. This is great.
Yes.
Ooh, yeah. Kathy, thank you for sharing that. That's a great story. How old
Yes.
are your grandsons?
He's 4.
Oh, geez.
He's 4, and I'm working on the other one who's 7. He's a different personality, but I'm working on it.
Thank you for sharing that. Really quick, I just want to go through some more of the comments. Brian Walker, we are grateful for you, brother. And Brian, thank you for your service as well. And thanks for hopping on the call. You're new to the community, and we're very thankful you're in our community. Thank you. If you're still here. Susie Foster, thank you. Josh, thank you for sharing your experience, strength, and hope. Let go, let God. Avis Doctor, beautiful, Josh. Alexandra, wow, Josh, I'm so grateful. Thank you for this gift you have given us all tonight. So much courage, so much self-compassion and self-love. You showed up for yourself always since you were a little boy. Facts. That's how you got here. Big facts. Heidi, thank you, Josh. You're amazing. Cheryl Page, great work, Josh. Danielle, just wow. Heidi, you're beautiful. You are fucking, you're fucking beautiful. Thank you for sharing, Josh. Tabitha, Arsa, Josh, you were incredible. Tracy, Josh, thank you so much. This was inspirational. You are a gift to the world. I told you, man, it's quiet, but this is what's going on in the background. You're touching people. You're changing lives just from this call alone. Hey, it's 10:31. Look at that. Mindy, Josh, thank you for sharing so openly and being vulnerable. Your authenticity is going to help so many people. That's completely true. Josh, you really touched my heart. Thank you. Mary Claire, Montana. Great job, Joshua. I'm so proud of my wizard. The only one that called you Joshua. Anyway. Hello, Montana. Montana, you're a shining star as well. You guys are you're so amazing. We're all so blessed to have you in this community.
Thank you, Robby. It was incredible.
Go. We're all building like Montana. We're all building just from like, we got so much going on. Like it's so incredible. Michael, can you share his website? And you were referring to someone. Can you repeat that again, Michael? Which website were you referring to? Because I remember you did mention that during the conversation.
Josh has a website.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And I think it's, he wants that his gift is to help others. So if we can share as a community, Josh, what he's doing in Montana, and they're reaching out to the community that not necessarily is sort of right now in the meditation phase. They're reaching out to people that their lives right now, literally tonight, Montana reached out to one of our members. They're having an issue with addiction right now. They're right now helping people. This person that they're reaching out to isn't going to be ready for meditation for quite some time. So correct me if I'm kind of going the wrong direction, Josh. The people that they're talking to are literally everywhere outside of our community, but our network, we can connect these two wonderful people so they can give this gift. I mean, we're talking people, suicide is a big issue inside addiction. And I know that Josh and Montana really understand how to reach out to those people. They've been there, done that. So it's what their mission is, as much as it's big. It's big. It's like in every fabric of our society, in every home, not every home, but in every family, I would say. If I kind of gone the wrong way there a little bit with what your mission is and how you want to help people, how can we help you help others?
Well,
maybe you could.
Specifically with, I didn't know. I just came on the call to share my story, but I work with people. I believe that, right now I work with people specifically, let's say in alcoholism, and AA supports it's self-supporting. As far as veterans go, that's, my goal is with veterans and that's outside of substance abuse. But I don't really know how yet. I've just created a platform. I just say that I'm just willing to do for one person what I wish I could do for everybody, to give as much as I can and for as long as I can, and I just allow it to and it keeps opening up. Eventually I want to put on my next phase is in May, going to train the trainer in Dr. Joe to get that certification, and then from there just growing funds that I can. I'm going to create a fundraiser, or it's going to be called the All-In Fund, to try to expand this work so that I can create workshops and to create more neuro change solution workshops for veterans. And that's, you know, that's that, and to primarily get them off alcohol, get them off the pills, to get them, and then to expand that further. You know, my initial niche was just veterans, because I know that area, but I want to expand as far as I can go, as far as wide as I can go.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. Thank you again for planting that seed. Let's make sure we can do everything that we can do. Let's do it. Let's fucking go. That's how it happens. Let's go with the flow. Let's really see how we can push and help you as much as we can. Just by mentioning that alone, a lot's going to happen. We're all here for you and for your community and for what you're trying to do. And yeah, please share the website. Michael, you look like you have something you want to say.
No, because I have shared it, and it's.
Oh, you did?
been-
Okay.
I have shared it with people outside of our community. And
Great.
Thank you.
it's been, people are like, that's really, somebody like that could really help somebody in my family. I wish somebody in my family could talk to Josh.
Yeah.
So it ripples outside of our group pretty quickly. The
Yeah,
people
big time.
it resonates with your story. It's really, it's very, very touching for a lot of people outside of just this group.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
and I'll have this link too, for everybody tomorrow. So feel free to share this story. If nobody's on this, people that you think would be inspired by it, who need to hear it, it's here for them. So I'll have that link for everybody on this call as well. So thanks, Michael. All right, back to the comments. We got like a lot of them. This was 30 minutes ago. Visitor Eve from Nokomis, Florida. Thank you for the info. Josh, you are inspirational. Show up for yourself, forgiveness of yourself, humble, compassionate, see the light, impact others, lead by example, and yes, sharing synchronicity. Appreciate the hosts too. Josh from Cheryl Page. I have friends in Colorado who may be able to assist you. They work with veterans. Let's fucking go.
Let's go.
Let's fucking go. All right. Connect that dot right there. Angela Orr, thank you so much, Josh. Mary Claire, radical surrender. Heidi, love, Heidi. Heidi's feeling it, baby. Let's go. Terry Lewis, thank you, Josh. That was awesome. I really appreciate hearing all of that. Heidi, love you all. Hug. I think that was her goodbye. Mindy, good night, everyone. Josh, amazing job. Please drop website and chat. I will share. And this will go in every one, including the Sunday night call. And everyone, please, we have a lot of groups that we are connected with. Let's get it. Let's just keep spreading. That's how it happens. This is how things happen. Simple present gestures. Josh Whiteland, www.joshuawhiteland.com. Whiteland.com, Joshua. So www.joshuawhiteland.com. Murad, good night, everyone. Great inspired experience, Josh. Thank you so much. It's been an incredible talk tonight. Good night and love you all. Ruth. Avis, one person at a time. Mung, Joshua, we need to do that book club. I am shocked how much I felt resonate with your talk. Even our experience were nothing the same. Yeah. And I remember you guys talking about that too at the in Cape Cod. Oh, Mung, are you still here? Are you Mung, you there? Sorry.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
We're gonna have
Josh.
to do it. Yes.
Motherfucker.
Josh is too much. It's too good. Unbelievable. I don't know what to say. I'm so happy I met you and Montana at the Cape Cod.
Yes, me too.
You guys are fucking diamond. I want more of you too. And everyone.
Oh, we want more of you too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I
was just getting ready to reach out to you at some point to do this. We could do that, to do that.
Oh yes, the naval war. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah. I just wanted to say to you, it's like all your life, all the things you said is very, the military, all of that is really foreign to me. But the essence for the story it was just like me, I never drink. I have a diet, not, but I don't know why. I felt like I know exactly how you felt. I know, what you did. I just felt so resonate with me. Yeah, I just felt so touching. Really, really touching. Thank you so much, Josh.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think when I said it at the beginning, but the cool thing about what you were sharing is you felt like you were an individual. And one of the great things about this community is like there are so many of us out there, but in a society that we were raised in, we felt like outcasts. But when we're here, like there's like Mung just said it, Kathy said it, I said it, Thor said it. Like we've all had this separate thought process growing up, and it's exactly the same as 80% of the people in this group. It's glue. It's yeah, it's
Yes.
great. And Mary Claire, ditto.
Yes.
Yeah, good stuff, man.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I realized, is that everybody else felt like we're just oneness. That's all there is. We all felt the same, and that it wasn't just me. I wasn't alone.
Yeah, and on that note of not being alone, one other person that I know is definitely like this. I'm just gonna unmute her and make her talk. Is Cosette. She just wrote something, but I know that you're a talker. You got some shit you got to say. Can you talk or no? Oh, you're muted. Hold on. Yeah, Cosette, you have a very similar mindset to this, and you as your son as well, and your family.
Yeah, my son is, I listened to your story, and I just can appreciate so much of it, and how you're able to tell it with wisdom now, and without that tie of emotion is just unbelievable and so inspirational. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Yes, it's taken a lot of I've never done that, so thank you.
Well, and what you're saying is like, my son's on the same path as, he wants to help others because he's transformed through Joe's work, and suicide and attempts and addictions, and it's just, my mind is going now. You've got my mind going. And I so wish he would have been on this call tonight.
Yes.
Because he doesn't like to tell his story. He's like, I'm not my story.
Yeah.
But how like inspiring it is to hear your story. If that makes sense.
Yes,
it's like
it does.
You're telling it from a different place now.
And that's what somebody told me. They said it's okay to share your story if you share it full circle. You have to share it full circle of that, how great, like where I am in my life, how grateful I am. That's the difference. The old me would just be going around, but it's that full circle, and then it's, and then the right platform, the right platform.
Well, you did it beautifully.
Thank you.
Yeah, and thanks for sharing that too, Cosette. I know that that so relates to, this is incredible stuff. I just
Yeah.
so much is
It's
gonna
close
happen.
to
And
home.
people want to hear it, because people want to relate. People want to hear and say, that's me too. That's me too. I struggle with that too, or I'm secretly doing this, and I have these thoughts as too. And then it's like, once it gets out in the open, now it's not such this, I'm not different. I'm not such a scary thing.
That's me too, I think, was so big. There's so many that's me too is that you hit in this call. And I'm not just on one subject matter too. Like you normalize this life that we're living, and and as far as having people relate in so many different avenues, man. Really cool. Kathy, hand up. Thank you, Cosette.
Also,
Brian, I see you too. Brian next. Sorry, Kathy.
Also, Josh, I was just thinking of the importance of saying something out loud. Not only, saying it out loud to yourself, but saying it out loud to the group it does so much healing for you as well as healing for other people. And I had no idea. I sort of knew that intellectually, but until, and I can relate to what you're saying, because Robby will tell you about 2 weeks before I was going to tell my story, there's no way in hell I would have gotten on here. There's just no way.
Yep.
And then it goes back to what Dr. Joe says. Once you know, you can't not know. And you're like, there was no fear in me speaking. There was no hesitation. It was like, I got to do this. I got to do this because it's really important to say what you need to say. Because if you can help just one person, that's it, right? That's totally it.
Yep.
It's such a valuable tool for everybody. And it's a great example. So thank you.
Thank you.
Love it. Thank you, Kathy.
You're welcome.
Brian, what's up, brother?
Josh, my brother. Robby, how you guys doing tonight?
Brian.
Hey, great. Thanks. Hey, Josh, just real quickly, Kathy, one, just to kind of dovetail off of your comments and sentiments. You just referenced about how just changing one person, helping one person makes all the difference. And not that it matters tonight's Josh's show, but I want to be that witness and say that I am one of those very grateful recipients of his awesomeness, of his humanity. What you heard tonight, I'll tell you, in just a short time and privilege and honor I've had to know Josh, I will tell you that what you heard tonight was beauty and strength through his authenticity. And that is to be commended, that is to be recognized. What you hear and saw tonight is the man that I know, that I've learned to grow and love and respect tremendously. He's given me strength. I'm through my current river of change, so to speak. I too am a vet and have gone through similar stories. And but I wanted to let him know, Josh, first and foremost, how proud I am of you for tonight. I love you as a brother, man. Again, strength and beauty through your authenticity that shone through so brightly tonight. And I'm honored to be able to be here and to witness that. So thank you.
Brian. Thank you. I love you too.
Thanks, Brian. Yeah, Brian, thank you for being here. I'm glad to have met you as well. And we're all here for your growth, bro. We're super excited to see you in a month. The Prague. Oh man,
Let's buckle up. Let's go for a ride. Buckle up. We'll figure it out along the way. We'll figure it out along the way.
Yeah. Literally, guys, we are changing the world. We're changing the motherfucking world. Let's go.
And thank you all for being able to be part of this community. It's been very lonely, I'll be honest, until recently. And this it feels so nice to have a place called, you kind of call home now, where there's no masks and we all can be ourselves and pour into each other. And it feels incredibly liberating. So I'll shut up now. Good night. Love you guys. See you soon.
Love you, man. And Susie, I see your hand. I'll give you 1 second. What you just said, Brian, is the key to how we have created this community. The backbone is this is a place of vulnerability. Everyone here feels comfortable to say whatever the hell they want without any judgment, without any cattiness to anything. This is what keeps this family alive, is the backbone of understanding that we can be who we are at all times. And we aren't going anywhere. This community is forever. And so the lotus flower has been planted, we're going, man. There's no stopping this community. The lotus, yeah. And there's a song, The Lotus Flower. I got to send it to you too. That's a side story. So Susie, my sister from another mister.
Well, we don't know. No, I'm just kidding.
Possibly.
I'm adopted, you guys. That's why I said that. Anyways, so Josh, thank you so much for sharing your experience, strength, and hope. I'm sure those words resonate with you.
Yes.
And let go, let God, right? So That being said, I want to honor you for the courage that it takes to be in a platform like this, to share your story, not knowing where this is going to be shared. I mean, when we're safe in the rooms, it's like what's there stays there, right?
Yep.
And when you're in a platform like this, it's like,
Yep.
So I just wanted to take my hat off to you for the courage, not only for sharing your story, but for living your life, for coming into this world and taking one step at a time and going through all the things that you went through in order to get where you are here today, to be able to come through all of that and still be here to share this with us is just spectacular. And I'm so grateful that you're here with us today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, I almost didn't know how to beat. I didn't want to beat around yeah, I'm an alcoholic, recovered alcoholic. So I didn't know how to beat around that. Yes.
Good job.
I'll just share one more thing. I'll be brave myself. I'll have a little bit of courage. In June, I'll have 12 years. And I know, right?
Congratulations, baby. Yeah.
So when I got into the rooms, I didn't want to be there either. So anyways, then I know this is not about me, but I just want to share that by hearing your story, just reiterates the reason why we do share these stories is to help give us strength to continue moving on forward, because we're all doing this together. And last week I had the privilege of Robby calling me, and I was in this stuck place, and Robby called me. And when he called me, that's what unraveled the piece that needed to push me forward. So that's the benefit, that's the beauty of this whole community that we have, and I'm so grateful. So thank you.
Thank you, Susie. Thanks for sharing that. Thanks for being vulnerable. Let everybody know what the next event you're going to, because you're a fucking firecracker and you will love her within 10 seconds of meeting her. You are an amazing person.
Cancun, I need a roommate. Just kidding.
There you go. I don't know about being a roommate. No, I'm just kidding.
Well,
I don't know if we'd ever go to bed. Oh, not like, oh, stop it. Oh, whatever. I don't know. We'll live in the unknown. Fuck it. Thank you for sharing that. Seriously, thank you for your vulnerability. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Ever since we talked, I see you here more often, and I sense you more often. You're more present now than you've been in a little bit. So thanks for sharing that. Good shit. Mary Claire, I saw you got unmuted. Was there something that you wanted to share? Or is that just me? Sorry. Oh,
no, that was totally by accident.
oh, well, hey, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. How you doing?
Good.
I'm actually, well, I'll share. I'm actually sitting here. There's tears in my eyes, and beyond the words of what's going on here, there's just this palpable sense of the vulnerability and the strength and the love just kind of cracking open some of the veneer that I have around me. And I'm just so inspired by you, Josh, and your vulnerability, and everybody in the community, that you guys all make me want to be more vulnerable, make me want to crack my heart wider open so that I can experience you more and you can experience me, and I can feel the richness of life. There's just something going on here that's really not about the words, and it's just really moving me. So thank you.
Thank you.
That's all.
Glad I said something. Glad I said something. Lots of hearts popping up right now.
Yes.
Thank you. Alexandra, I see your hand, or I saw your hand. But yeah, Mary Claire, thank you. I'm so happy that I said something. That was beautiful. Alexandra.
Thank you, Robbie. Josh, I just wanted to say, to add, other than your courage, I heard so much love for yourself, so much compassion for yourself. And that is really beautiful. I think that's the motor. And I wanted to say something else, and is that you don't only impact one person. Every time you touch one heart, you touch millions of hearts, because you don't know that person how many other lives is touching. Yeah. So you will make an incredible work helping all these people that really need to hear your story and just change their lives. Thank you. Thank you for sharing with us tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alexandra. And somehow, Josh, we're gonna figure out. I gotta figure out the Zoom situation. But if there's a way, we gotta get you on a Zoom so the 3:30 group in Cape Cod can feel the love and power of Josh. Figure out if there's a way we could do that.
Yes, anytime.
Yeah.
And hey, Michael, and can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I'm in response to Michael's. I didn't know how to wave my hand, so
That's how you do it.
yeah, I just wanted to quickly say that in my recovery, and Josh played a really big impact in my recovery. And I've been going to AA for probably 13 years, and I never understood how to understand it. And it wasn't until I was able to see Josh and his massive spiritual experience that he had that turned me on to doing something about what I was going through my life, like taking responsibility for my own life. First of all, I was really attracted to him and his personality. And it took me falling in love with a boy to want to do something, for myself. And part of that was some of my codependency, but being around him and seeing him work through the steps of the recovery and seeing the changes that were happening in his life so fast and so miraculously, it changed my life. It changed my life, and it made me want to do something. And to answer your question about addiction and things like that, I know Josh and I both Josh and me we've been the victim and the perpetrator. It's been like, I've been the alcoholic, and I've been the one that's been cheated on, and I've been the one that's been this on, and blah blah blah. But the woman that I got to speak with tonight, that you had sent over, it was incredible. That was incredible to get to talk to somebody from Morning Warriors, from Joe Dispenza, and to get to share some of that stuff with her, and I just got to have a Me Too experience in here, and to be able to share my experience with her, and for her to share that stuff with me. And sometimes I really think sometimes that, like in Joe Dispenza, it's just not appropriate to share my story. We just don't talk about stories. But the truth is that sometimes we're in Joe Dispenza, but sometimes we are in the story. And it's important for us all to have compassion for everybody in this room while they're in the story, because we're going to go fall back into it sometimes. We all fall back into the illusion, and it's okay. That's what we're here for. We're here to pick each other back up and tell them what the truth is. Sometimes I got it, and sometimes I don't. And that's just really important to know that, and to know that we're just here to help, and we're all broken, and we're just here to help each other.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. That was that shows it. That just, I can't tell you, my heart's just exploding right now that you took the time to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. It was really healing for me. Thank you.
Power. Oof. So, call couldn't have happened at a more better time.
Yeah.
Power.
Yeah,
Thank you for sharing that.
sometimes I fall into self-pity, And I'll tell Montana, like, I know I'm in self-pity, but I'm just gonna enjoy this for like, and 30 minutes. I'll bounce out of it. I'm aware, I know exactly what it is, but I'm gonna be in it for a minute and then I'll bounce back, But
Yep.
it's just yeah, it's awareness, acceptance, action,
Josh
Exactly.
goes 30 minutes, I go 3 days.
Well, it was only one day here. What are you talking about? I'm just kidding.
So
Josh
there's
is
somebody on,
sandbagging.
there's somebody on the call, I won't say, but Josh is going to create an incredible going into the unknown. And he is going to create an experience. The unknown is where it's where the beauty happens. It's where, he mentioned it 2 or 3 times tonight. It's the unknown is where it becomes, when it becomes beautiful. It's where the magic happens. It's like the magic, it's like something, the magic, right?
Yep.
And these 2 fine young men, everybody's young for me, are going to create the unknown, and I can't wait to sort of, we're going to mold this, and we're going to manifest it and create it as a community here.
Get ready. Get fucking ready.
Ready.
Gonna be
so great.
It's going to be an amazing thing, and Josh is going to be spearheading the unknown adventure.
Yeah, get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yep.
And I think that he's going to be the creator, and as a community, we hope we can all support this because the unknown is where the music
there,
the magic is, and it's so scary to open your heart and go into the unknown. It's just terrifying.
Yeah.
But you mentioned it 2 or 3 times in the call tonight. You did it beautifully, and the reason why I mentioned this is because it's the energy and the excitement of being able to create something like that is what, I can't wait. It's going to be freaking awesome.
We are creating collective energy. This collective energy. We're utilizing this playbook for in between Dr. Joe events. We're just creating these energy portals of unknown. Just everything we're doing right now. We're changing the fucking world. Woo. Sorry, I'm just lost in excitement right now. I'm in the unknown. But yeah, we got this, guys. We are changing the fucking world, and this is just the beginning. Woo! I'm fucking pumped. How am I gonna go to bed? So was somebody about to say something? I didn't want to cut someone off. No? Okay. Really quick, Mung just said something about just what Montana just said, where I was saying power, but I think Mung really love your Aquarius courageous spirit. Yeah, you're on the front line when you speak. It's fucking powerful, Montana. Both of you.
Thank you.
Tracy Fenty, thank you for an amazing night. Love you all. Alexandra, my phone is about to die. I want to say I love you all before it happens. Did you hear that, Alexandra? No, shit died. Have a freaking magical week. Susie Foster. Love you all, Michael. Oh man, this was great. Josh, thank you so much. Before we forget, let's see. Just if there's anything that you can share with us, your contact information, anybody on here who can, or who you can help, share your contact info. We'll do it in the Sunday night call, but and we'll do it on WhatsApp. But just we'll have that. Send it to me. Put it in here.
Okay.
But yeah, does anybody know how to save the chat on here, or is that not able? You're not able to save the chat.
You can save the chat.
You
In
can
this
save
call?
it. Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
show chat. I'll ask you. All right, next time we'll lock that
Yeah,
down.
I've made like everything my name. So like my website's Joshua Whiteland. My YouTube is Joshua Whiteland. And and then there's everything in there is looped to connect to me. I mean, I think Brian found me pretty easily, but everything's all just. I've made everything align with that.
There's 22 people in the room right now, just so you know.
22.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. 22.
Yeah, I'll take a picture of that. So yeah, Josh has reach out to Josh. Your phone's gonna be flooded, but reach out to Josh.
Yeah.
Because he just loves talking. Like he has similar stories to me, and his stories are gonna help the world. So just reach out to talk to him.
Yes, tomorrow I'm driving to Clayton, New Mexico. It's like 11 hours. I'm actually picking up my son, so yeah, I have a lot of time on my hands tomorrow. So
yeah, and honestly, everybody here, reach out to everybody. Don't be shy. Don't put the energy. Share it. We have so many things to talk about together. Reach out to me. Reach out to anybody you could relate to. Don't think about it. Do it. We got so much shit to talk about. That's why Josh is on this call. I'm just like, shit, dude, we've been through a lot of the same stuff. How Thor said, like the way that, like you said, the parallel isn't like isn't the life experience. I guess it's more the mental. I don't know, but it's not the same, but it's exactly the same. If it makes any sense. But Thor, when you said that, I'm like, everything you said, I'm like, me too. Just, yeah, let's keep talking, guys. The energy's real. Let it go. Let it out. We are all connected.
Yep.
Good night, all. Much love, peace, and joy from Avis Doctor. And Avis, I'm so happy you're part of the community too. Just so many new. Oh, Danielle, I see the directions. Thank you. But now they're going to disappear because I don't know how to save it. So I'm going to take a picture of it. Whoa. No, I took a picture of it.
Oh, just do it now.
Oh, I can't. I'm in the middle of doing this. But everybody, thank you so much. Whoever's going to be here on the 30th, I can't wait. I'm going to put a Zoom. I'm going to try to. Zoom's going to be last resort, or last. What's the word? I want to make sure everything here is perfect, and then I'm going to start implementing Zoom. But Zoom will be here. We just might not have a camera, just like we had last time, but it'll be here for everybody experience, because we got a lot of presenters going on. Oh my God, we have so much going on within this bubble. It's so incredible. We're all learning. It's all no wasted time. It's all building. It's all knowledge and wisdom and stories and just ways to help each other. I could go on forever. I want to make sure we end it with 22. So nobody get out of the room. Nobody leave. So we leave with 22 people.
22.
But Josh, I want to make sure if anybody else has anything to say, please raise your hand or just say something. If not, I'll just close it out, and Josh as well. If you have anything, please say if you wanted to, obviously. And if not, I'll close it out.
Thanks, Robby. Hey, thank you for everything you've done, man. This is outstanding. You're the man, dude. Glad to be here, brother.
You're a fucking man. Thanks, Brian. Thanks for being here. You're the man. Everyone here's the man. Everyone here's the woman. We're all one. We're all one. All right. Thank you. Oh, sorry. Anybody? I heard something.
I wanted to say something.
Please do.
Josh, that was amazing. And what everybody said was always really amazing. And the vulnerability, it inspires me. So you might hear more about me later.
Sunday night call.
No. No.
Sunday night call.
Yeah.
But Josh, I wanted to tell you, I have a quote from you now that I love. You may not even know that you said it. You said somebody, I think when you're talking to Montana, you say, yeah, I feel that. Let's go.
Yeah. Yes.
I love that. I love that so much. I wrote it. It's right here. It's right on my desk. So anyway.
Share that in the group if you can.
Sure. Right.
And then quote and then, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's accepting how you feel. Yeah. Like I feel sad, or I feel angry, or I feel depressed or scared. Like, yep, that's what I feel. Let's go. Let's do it.
I love it. I love it. Thank you.
Jumping,
Thank you.
jumping in the water, baby. Fucking go.
Let's go.
Into the unknown, right?
Into the unknown, baby.
Oh,
Man, awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that too. Love hearing
Yes.
your voice and being a part of this community. You're the best. Hey, I was gonna end it with a quote, and I just opened up these quotes, and it was a Dr. Joe quote, which was kind of fitting just with your background. It's the hardest part of every war is the last battle. Dr. Joe, Becoming Supernatural. That was the first one that came up. Boom. But I don't know, Kathy and Thor, if you have a quote, I'd love for you to share one too. If you both have one, please feel. If you had no pressure, just giving you guys the platform if you wanted it.
I got one.
All right.
The real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new lands, but in seeing with new eyes.
Boom.
Woo!
Yep.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this eye. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. One more again. That was powerful.
The real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new lands, but in seeing with new eyes. Just what Josh told us about tonight. That's it.
Let's go.
Geographical cures.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I love it. And please share that. Thumbs up
Yes.
from Leon or from Arsa. Thor, if you had one, I want to make sure if you got the platform if you want it.
I do not have one that will top anything that's gone on tonight.
All right. Cool, man.
I will just reiterate my favorite Dr. Joe quote that Josh has said many times, in that when you take the emotional charge out of a memory, it becomes wisdom.
Mm.
That's my favorite Dr. Joe quote.
Thank you for sharing that again, because that was told a couple times on this call.
Yeah.
That popped out to me as well. All right. And on that note, thank you, Dr. Joe, for dedicating your life to this. If it wasn't for you, we would not know each other. We are changing the world because of you. So thank you. We don't do this because we have to. We do this because we want to, because we know we have to. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. It's a new life. This is our story. I fucking love you guys. I'll see you at 5 a.m.
5 a.m.
Guys.
The
Love
real
that.
voyage of discovery. Oh, there we go. Got it. Okay. Love it. Love you guys. Good night,
Love
Josh. Thank you so much, brother.
Thank
Great
you.
job. Great fucking job,
Thank you.
motherfucker.
Yeah, I've changed my perspective. I didn't change my mouth.
Oh.
Hey, people encourage me.
Yes.
I love it.
I love you guys.
yes. Thank you, John. Thank
Love you guys.
Love you too. Wonderful.